And what is up, you guys? Welcome to the Wraparound Stereo podcast, where we review the Raptors game that just happened tonight. So they took on the Chicago Bulls on a Monday night and came away in a 1-point victory. So a couple things worth mentioning. I did not do a who they play last? The Sixers podcast on Sunday. Just had like a bad feeling about it. Box score was terrible. Didn't watch the game. You control all of it, you delete it, and you put in the recycling bin. So it was interesting to see what they were going to do tonight. So didn't catch most of it, caught the last about 6 minutes of this one, and the Raptors pull it out over the Bulls. I think it was in Chicago, but not completely sure. So gutsy effort towards the end. I liked the defense that I saw. Not much else I can comment on except that we got the win. It's also weird that we gutted out a win against the Bulls because the Bulls are terrible. So I still think something's really wrong with this team. We got the win, but what are we shooting against the Bulls? Something terrible. I don't buy the second night of a back-to-back excuse. I think that's fucking trash. We should have handled them. The team before Serge and Lowry came back would have handled them. But again, give it some time. I think they'll integrate and things will get better. So if we take a look at the box score, so that's your final, 93-92. Pascal, 7 of 18. So I think he did most of his damage in the first half, and then he was pretty quiet. 7 field goals in 40 minutes is pretty low. A lot of our starters played a fair amount of minutes, which was, interesting to see. Kyle, Norm, not great. But they were in the plus category, so kudos to them. Our bench, our reserves didn't fare so well. 3 of 11 for Serge in 19 minutes. I think that's probably why Boucher's getting a few more minutes there, which I'm a huge fan of. It seems like Terrence Davis is getting less run. Even Malcolm Miller saw a bit and missed, looks like, every shot he took. Or 2 free throws and 1 field goal, whatever, and a plus 1 in 6 minutes, so whatever. Fred didn't play tonight. Norm started. I think that's a better way of going about it. There's something about how their offense worked better when Norm started alongside Fred, and I think it's good to have that shooting guard. I think because he can create a lot. I know having Lowry and Fred together, they play off each other. They can do some things. Lowry can shoot up at the 2 guard, take plays off, spot up in the corner. He's a good 3-point shooter. They can switch. Fred can do that. I get the logic. It's nice having Norm, though. I think he was coming on. He was having some really good games. The Utah game, I think. Yeah, whatever. So he got a little bit of run. He was the hero towards the end. Devlin was loving him, just dapping him up as he was scoring. So, yeah, again, good for us to pull it out. Not much to comment about. I don't have too many notes here, but I don't feel great that we edged it out over a Bulls team that's freaking... What are they at? I can't see that record from here. 8-16, 4-8 at home. Yeah, so they're at home, whatever. Good stuff. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. Is it cause for worry? I don't know who this Raptors team is. They scored under 100 points. They barely scraped past this team. Bulls are not good. I know we played a second night of a back-to-back. We were in Philly yesterday, whatever, road. I get it. 2 road cities, right? You're not home for any of them. You're traveling. I'm not buying that excuse. You're a champion. You should know how to play. I think the roster probably still needs a bit of time to integrate. So Nick Nurse held a bit of a presser, I think, today to say, okay, yeah, it's going to take some time. Actually, Kyle said that after last game that, he acknowledges that the guys are clicking, but they're going to need some time to integrate everybody together. Probably couldn't agree more. Bumps in the road early on, better than bumps later on towards the playoffs or in the playoffs, right? So let's get that shit out of the way. We're going to struggle. Fine. This is against good teams. So there's been a bit of analysis coming out because we lost these 3 games, right? And I think the Bulls thing doesn't really quiet the concerns of how our roster looks, especially on offense. I think they look pretty gummy from what I saw. I forgot where I was going to go with that. But basically, a lot of people were saying, they couldn't keep up the 3-point shooting. They were the best in the league at that. Fair enough. And then Pascal couldn't keep up whatever he was averaging, 27 like probably 8 and 5 or something. So super numbers. He was the 7th best player in the league up until that 3-game stretch. People might have him lower now because he's been scuffling a little bit. Like tonight, he wasn't great against like pretty subpar. Like I don't know who was defending him, Wendell Carter or maybe. Don't know. Would have liked to see more out of Pascal, but that's the way she goes. Basically, yeah, it's hard to sustain that type of success. Number one, 3-point shooting, like that's going to come down because all of our guys are not historically great 3-point shooters, like good enough, and all of them can shoot. But yeah, like I think we were blowing the doors off it. I don't know if that was sustainable. Maybe we're just in the middle of a cold stretch too. But also, I thought that like our passing before this 3-game stretch. Well, and I guess now it's 4 because of the Bulls. But like that 3-game losing streak before that, I think things are going a lot better. I don't think that they're resolved yet. I don't know if there needs to be more practices, whatever. I trusted Nurse to figure it out. He's won a championship. His supporting cast, assistant coaches, like let him go to town. I think they're smart guys. I think they'll adapt. Like they're not stupid. Like everything that we think that we see as fans, like they see, they see 10 times as fast. They're coaches. That's something that they're supposed to look out for. So maybe something changes. Who knows? Flash forward to the Bulls. I don't know. I still think they're not a great team. I think that if Zach LaVine's your main guy, it's a little dodgy. Like I think he's improved his game since Minnesota. Maybe Bulls fans out there can prove me wrong on this one. But like to have him take your last shot in the possession, maybe. The thing is, like they're not going to call fouls in the last 30 seconds of the game. They didn't for Kyle, and they didn't for Zach when he was botting people up. It's just rare. It's not going to happen. Does that speak to his game entirely? No. Like he's a good fan. Like I have him on my fantasy roster, and I agree that he has grown a little bit, but I don't know. Like athletic as hell. Still needs some room to go. I don't know if that's the right coach for him. I don't know if it's the right situation for him. I don't know if they've really grown, but. Yeah, close game. Like, they gutted it out. I don't know if they played hard for their coach, whatever. I say this more as, like the Bulls kind of lost this game. I think that we should beat them, but it was super, super close. And, maybe they're just feeling it. Anyway, what's there to add? I think the next couple games will be telling. We're playing, get this, Santa Claus is coming to town, right? Kawhi the Claw. I saw that as a pun. I'm going to steal it. Santa Claus, he's coming. He's going to get his ring. They said at 6:45, so 15 minutes before tip-off, they asked for fans to be in their seats. I don't know if they're going to present him specially, more than anybody else. I'm trying to think, like, who else would come back. Like, Danny has not yet come back with the Lakers, right? So maybe they'll give him a presentation too. I don't know how this works. Obviously, it's first time for Toronto winning their winning a championship and all that. So the ring thing is obviously new to me. I don't know how it's going to work. Like maybe they're not going to drag Tannenbaum out there and like have like a whole DJ thing. No. Like they're probably just like hand it off to him like they would like a framed like congratulations for scoring 10,000 points in the league or something like that. So I don't know that much is going to come out of it. Be cool to see though. Like I hope they broadcast it. I know he said publicly that he doesn't really care. Like he's just focusing on the game. It'd be nice to get a ring and I'll get out of there. But I don't know. I'm sure there'll be a video tribute and people are going to do a standing ovation and he's not going to care. Like he won't even realize it. Like he'll be in the huddle drinking water or something on his comfy ass chair with however much padding and pillows he's got on there. So anyway, that'll be, I think that's Wednesday. So the Raps have an off day. They'll travel. I don't know if they're going to practice. I still think they should. If he plays, because I know that he also took off the Pacers game tonight, and there's whispers that he's going to do load management when he comes to Toronto and just not play. I can't see that happening. He's too much of a competitor, but it's a fun storyline if he does, in fact, sit out, right? Because the whole load management thing last year, and if he sits out against us, what is that saying? So that's a fun subplot. I think he'll play, right? He usually just back-to-backs he doesn't play. He's getting his ring. It'll be fun. Santa Claus coming to town. I'll be watching. I'll watch a lot more than I did on this one, but I don't know. Maybe the Raps will figure something out. Offense looks just bad. So, and it's not going to get any better with Pat Bev and Paul George, and if Kawhi plays, and like that's going to be, oof. like, let's just not get our doors blown off when Kawhi comes sit down. That's all. So, yeah, till then.